What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I am joined by Degenerate Jay. And in this video, we want to talk about the J.K. Rowling situation going on with the Harry Potter live-action TV show. Now, a few days ago, so you guys are probably seeing this on Friday, I think is when this video is going to go up. On Monday, we talked about it. I covered it. The news broke. I was about to record something, and then I recorded that one immediately after. So I got that story up, or that video up, like 30 minutes after it happened. Very exciting. Lots to talk about in that way, again, that we kind of already did, so make sure you guys check out that video. But to go into the more spicy, which you guys tend to like when I do this, and I brought Jay along so I can, if something goes wrong for me, I can just blame him later. We want to talk about J.K. Rowling because that seemingly got a lot of press, that got a lot of people talking about it online. Where does she fit in? Is this a bad situation? Should the show be canceled? All that kind of stuff are things that we definitely saw floating around the internet Monday, Tuesday, so on and so on. So before I ramble for too long, number one, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel as well as Jay's. I'm going to leave all his stuff in the description as well as a pinned comment. His main channel, his second channel, he does a phenomenal job. He's actually talked about Hogwarts Legacy. I know a lot of people here have watched the Hogwarts Legacy stuff. Jay has talked about it as well. Jay, thank you so much for being on this video with me.
Hey man, thanks for having me here. I'm here to deflect from my old really bad tweets from being discovered. So as long as we stay clear of those, I'm good.
Right, we both have secrets to hide. So let's just talk about this. Funny enough, okay, so I've talked about J.K. Rowling before, funny enough, with Hogwarts Legacy. When Hogwarts Legacy was first announced, Kotaku, the golden child of journalism, posted an article and talked about how you shouldn't buy Hogwarts Legacy because of J.K. Rowling. It was a really big story, got a lot of publicity, and I did a video on it and did very, very well. And I, in a way, defended her, and I do want to make it very, very clear, what she kind of says aside, she's an individual. She's allowed to have whatever thought she wants to have. She's allowed to think. She's allowed to do whatever she wants, obviously in the scope of law. Okay, she can't break laws, but she has every right to do whatever she wants, and you have every right to not listen to her. And I think it goes, and this is being brought back up. This, in my opinion, just goes more towards, she is, I would classify her as like a Hollywood elite type, and we really have no reason to care nor listen to anything that these people think. Now, normally it's because they say all these things, and it could be political, it could not, and you say, okay, well, they really don't know what real life is. They don't know real people, so just don't listen to them, right? They're not gods, they're not idols, they're just people. They get paid to most of them to entertain. Okay, so for J.K. Rowling, honestly, it's kind of the same thing, just a little bit reverse, where it's like, yeah, this stuff could hurt certain people, and I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm saying is, if you go to J.K. Rowling to feel good about yourself, or if you are certain groups of people that we won't really throw around names here, but that she's maybe called out, maybe not. And by the way, some of the stuff she has said has been twisted in other ways. So she hasn't exactly, the media has a way of doing that. But if you go to her to feel good about yourselves, or for some sort of like recognition or whatever, it's probably not the best way of doing it. So that's kind of the opening. I don't think this matters at all to Harry Potter, the live action TV show. Now, she's a main writer to it. You could use it as like a boycotting opportunity where, hey, if she's writing it, if she's one of the main people, maybe you won't watch the show because of what she said. She probably will get some sort of kickback from it because of Harry Potter in general, but we don't know. The article said that they were still looking for a writer, that they don't actually have writers, they don't have directors. And by the way, if they don't have a writer, to me, that kind of tells me that they're not going to use her. Okay, because if you're going to use her, you probably would have an early idea that she's the one for the job. By saying you're looking for a writer tells me you're going to be looking for somebody outside of her. So, Jay, what do you think about maybe, kind of like a summary of her, and what do you think maybe about the situation?
I don't know if my thoughts are going to be very popular, so I will say first off, obviously anything we talk about, our thoughts are our own. Alex and I agree on many things, disagree on few, but that doesn't mean that he necessarily agrees with everything that's going to come out of my mouth. I just want to throw that out there for your sake. I think it's hilarious to me how J.K. Rowling was seen as this beacon of hope and Christ-like figure in Hollywood for a while, when she was saying and doing things that made people happy, which we found out later seemed to be more for points, in my opinion, than for validity. When she was going around saying, actually, Hermione, I pictured her as a young African-American woman, or it wouldn't be African-American, I guess, because they're in the UK, and a black woman. Or, oh, Dumbledore was always LGBTQ, all this stuff. Like, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But it was all pandery. I even said it before. It's not like, because people will always twist this, and that's why I think it's important to point it out. I mean, there are plenty of great LGBTQ characters from different things. I mean, Max and Chloe from Life is Strange, I love them. Kelly and Yorkie from Black Mirror, the San Junipero episodes, one of my favorite in the whole series. The characters from The Color Purple that I'm blanking on. That doesn't mean that these characters can't be written, but they were all thought about ahead of time and written that way in a valid way. J.K. Rowling, I really truly do believe, saw an opportunity and a cultural shift to be like, hey, look, I can become more popular and my stuff can become more popular if I change this, and this after the fact. And everyone was all for it because it was like, oh, yes, that is so great. But as soon as she started saying things that were not in line with this, which, by the way, I will straight up say, too, I know what you said about her being an individual, and I agree with it. I did think some of her statements were kind of douchey. I mean, I thought they were just unnecessarily provocative, and not something you should say, even if you think. I don't really even think you should really think that way. But it's not even something that you should really be throwing out there as a public figure, because it will bite you in the ass. I don't understand her mentality here of what she had been thinking with some of these statements anyways. But the thing with all of this that is interesting is people want her outed of the brand. And actually, if you look into her contract, which people have analyzed her contracts before with Harry Potter, you can't do that. She actually was really smart when she signed this. She retained like partial rights to pretty much everything. I mean, she has to sign off on stuff down to when they were making the butter beer for the Harry Potter park, which I always forget the name of, so that's my bad. She had to taste test it. This woman has control of everything. If you hate her and you just will not watch Harry Potter if she's involved, I'm sorry, but you're done with Harry Potter permanently. You're just done. You have to give it up. I don't even call for that, but it's you can't act like, oh, well, she wasn't involved in this or wasn't involved. Yeah, she still signed off on it. She will still sign off on this game, even if she's not heavily involved. At the end of the day, to me, this all kind of goes to show how quickly people will turn on someone who doesn't support what they think. I don't even like her statements. I'm fine saying that I find them obnoxious. I don't really understand why she has sort of tried to become a provocateur of some of this stuff. If all it is she signs her name on something, she's not involved in the writing, the producing, or anything, I don't really care. This woman is already rich enough to live her entire lifetime 10 times if she never got paid again. It's not like you're going to hurt her. That's what's funny to me is it's like, oh, we're going to get her. No, you missed your shot. You enabled her when she was saying and doing all the right things and gave her billions of dollars. And then when she started doing dumb stuff, now it's like, let's get rid of her. I'm sorry, too late. You can't. What are you going to do? Raid her house, take her money? I don't think so. You lost. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but it's very amusing to me how much she was enabled for so long to be seen. I mean, it's like what you said about Kotaku. It was, but not sarcastically, like as this golden child of Hollywood. And that's the problem is these are just people. Like you said, I think their opinions matter, but no more than anyone else, and you have to actually look at it and think, oh, well, how connected is this person to reality? They have $100 million in their bank account and like $1 billion net worth. It's hard for me as someone making, $30,000 a year or something to take that seriously. And people don't think about that. They idolize these people, man. And I think that's really the problem is once you get down under the shell of it, a lot of these people put up a front of like, I believe this, and this. But then if you see them behind the scenes, it's like they're throwing around slurs or they're saying like really, what you'd call bigoted stuff or whatever. I mean, they're not the idol that people make them out to be, really, any of them.
Right. No, I totally agree. It's It's tough because I do agree. I mean, she's had a whole arc. She's had a whole actual character arc just in her own personal life, where she was, like you said, looked up to for so long. And I do remember, when she would say all this stuff about Hermione and Dumbledore and stuff like that, and people would applaud. But then you know what? People would get really upset, especially after these last two Fantastic Beasts movies, of not showing it. She says it, and like you said, like she's just saying it to say it. That's the whole point, and that's what really. No, I'm not saying like people that follow this stuff are stupid, but that's where you have to kind of take a step back and say, like it's kind of all nonsense, and you have to be able to see that by stepping back. And I don't think everybody can do that, and that does come from idolizing and thinking that they are better than you when really they are not even close. Now, yes, like you said, I think they are all entitled to their own opinion, but then like I've said, they, and even like you just said, they're so disconnected from reality, and you see this a lot with a lot of different kinds of people, right? So disconnected with reality. Do you even is it even worth listening to them? Do their opinions truly, now do their opinions matter? Yes, to them, but do they have to matter to you? No. In fact, you could completely block them out and lose literally nothing if you stop listening to those people. You truly would lose nothing. So it is tough. I get it. I mean, I feel, because I'm trying to think back to the Kotaku article, and I know I had a huge problem with that, and I ripped them to shreds in that video. With the whole Johnny Depp stuff, I know that's like completely opposite, but you're like just a different situation. Like, I get boycotting, I get not supporting something because of a situation, and so I find it hard to tell you that you're wrong to say, well, I won't watch it if she is part of it. But like Jay said, she literally is always going to be part of everything, okay? Even if she has nothing to do with, like, Hogwarts Legacy, the game, she has very, very minimal impact on the game. They even said that. Very little. But she does sign off on it. And it's kind of a situation where, like, you have to pick for yourself, is that okay, with you? And so, it's tough because I want to say like something like this isn't the smartest thing to boycott over, but yet again, people boycott over all sorts of stuff. It really just depends on, how you view the situation. I think what she has said some very, like you said, I mean, she has said some very stupid stuff that almost seems like she is poking the bear. Like, hey, let's see how mad we can make people and let's say something like this. She's absolutely done that. But even people, there's a lot of people that hate her, and even past people that have worked on Harry Potter have said that they hate her. There's also some people, the guy who plays Hagrid actually has come out to defend her, where he's actually done that. So, not everybody despises her. It's a really tough situation. I will watch the show. I'm more interested to see if they do stupid stuff. Do they reimagine Hermione, let's say, without going too far into that? Do they do some really stupid stuff? That's what the controversy, that's what I'm looking like forward to or looking towards. Not necessarily, I could honestly care less about J.K. Rowling. I don't think she's going to be attached all that much with this project, and I'm going to still watch it. Jay, any final thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I feel like I really just unloaded my thoughts completely out there, but it's one of those things too where it's like you have to look at some of these people and see if they're being genuine. I think there's ways to tell. A lot of these people that will just say and not do, or say and not show, it's not genuine. The genuine stuff is stuff that's written from the ground up to include characters. There's nothing wrong with inclusivity or diversity or any of that stuff. I don't think I or Alex have ever said that there is or implied that there is in any way, but it's all this stuff should be organic. Like I said, Max and Chloe, written from the ground up for Life is Strange, and really pushed in the direction of LGBTQ, and that's fine. Like that was a good story. I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite game stories. You have to actually think of this stuff ahead of time. And the point that I'm getting at is I don't really think J.K. Rowling was. I think she saw an opportunity, used it to look good, and did look good. But then people found out what her opinions really were, and it was like, oh, yikes. I think that's what you have to look at is people can say anything, but how do they live? What do they do? What does their work reflect? That's the stuff you have to look at. And again, I'm not trying to discount people's frustration with it, but it's like if you want to hurt her by boycotting, you missed your shot.
The best you can do is just not care, truly. Like, just leave her alone.
Yeah, just focus on your own thing, if this hurts Harry Potter for you, I actually get it. And that is, I guess my closing thought is I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like some of the stuff that has been said outside of Star Wars by Lucasfilm and stuff like that has really annoyed me and hurt the brand for me. So I get just kind of disconnecting and being like, I don't really care. about certain things, that's totally valid. But if you're doing it out of like spite, like I'm gonna get J.K. Rowling, that's not the right reason. You probably shouldn't care that much. Is just kind of my opinion.
Absolutely. So this is a pretty fun topic, I would say. Let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Are you gonna boycott it, or are you okay with it? What do you think about J.K. Rowling? Try and keep things, I'd say, PG or PG-13 if you want to go that far. As always, like I said, make sure you guys are subscribed here, bell icon turned on. I'll of course, I mean, this is the Harry Potter TV show. As we get closer, now this is years away, but you know, I hopefully I'll still be around. Hopefully this channel will still be around, and if it is, I'll for sure cover it. I'm gonna leave all of Jay's stuff in the description, as well as a pinned comment. His main channel, his second channel, he does a phenomenal job. I'm really happy he was here on this video with me. Jay, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's always honestly a great discussion, and we bounce off each other really well. I look forward to having you on my channel more too.
Absolutely. So nobody get overly mad. These are just opinions. You guys are fully welcome to your own opinions, and we hope to see you guys on the next video.